Hey everybody, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about planning and how to get the most bang for your buck out of every lesson. So I'd like to talk a little bit about creating shared presentations. And in this example, I'm going to use both Google Drive and media albums in Schoology as my example. So it's really easy to say to kids, hey, I want you to make a presentation on X topic. But what if we think a little bit deeper about that and instead use a shared Google Drive file folder or a media album on Schoology and have the kids collaborate with coming up and finding the pictures online. So instead of every kid going to get 20 images on Google image search for their presentation, we have those 20 kids each get one picture. So they still get the experience of having to do a good image search, finding that source, and placing it into the shared album. But what we gain in this process of breaking it up amongst each of the kids is the fact that they have to do a couple additional things in the critical kind of life skills that are the 4 C's. They have to collaborate with one another to come up with what are going to be the best pictures to put in this media album or this shared folder, right? Two, they have to communicate clearly with one another. I'm going to get a picture of X and you're going to get a picture of Y, so on and so forth, and kind of critically think through what's going to be most valuable to everybody in this process. So if we're all researching, let's say, culture and language in Spain, you know, I need to represent that well in my image for myself, but I also need to do that well for my peers and X that out by 20. So we've now just covered 3 of the 4 C's in sharing kind of this responsibility instead of putting it all on myself. And then last but not least, we're going to hit that 4th C when we actually create the presentation using the media that we've collaboratively pulled together into this media album to present my idea to the rest of the class. So the nice thing about spreading kind of this responsibility among all 20 kids in this example is that I'm gaining 4 critical life skills in collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and still getting that creation part. Whereas if I just say to the kids, hey, go ahead and create this presentation on culture and language in Spain, um, they're getting that creation aspect. However, I don't gain those other things. So it's a nice, easy way for me to gain bang for my buck in my pedagogical kind of thinking about planning a lesson. It also steps me up the SAMR ladder, whereas before I was simply remembering facts and going ahead and applying them in my presentation as a learner in that classroom. Now I'm really having to kind of evaluate the sources. Is that going to be really good to express kind of our depth of knowledge of this topic in a whole class environment? I'm analyzing, is somebody else's idea going to really relate to what we need to say as a class about this topic? So I'm gaining additional skills when I think about Bloom's taxonomy as well. It also takes me steps deeper in SAMR. Whereas before I might have been gaining some functional improvement, let's say at the augmentation phase, I've now modified my lesson so that all the kids in this room, or maybe spread amongst a number of periods, are collaborating to pull together these shared resources. So I've modified my lesson, gaining some functional improvement, yes, but also kind of redirecting how the lesson as a whole works. So I hope these ideas can be applicable the next time you have to create, let's say, a presentation with slides like the one I talked about, or you could even apply this to creating collages, posters, movies, anything that involves shared media such as audio, video, um, or photos. I hope that you found this helpful, and I'm going to continue this series of videos and posts about trying to get bang for your buck with the 4Cs, SAMR, and moving up the Bloom's taxonomy. As always, thanks for your time. I know you're busy. I appreciate you watching and listening, and I hope you found this helpful.